I had one of the viewers ask me a very good question, and that question comes up quite a bit. So I'm going to address it and explain to you why I do what I do. All right, so I find that cutting my nails with a clipper when shortening them gives a clean break to the layers, and I have less splitting and breakage at the tip. Is this not a good practice since I don't see you doing that? Okay, so there are pros and cons to using clippers, so cutting your nails. So first of all, I don't do that very often because for myself, when I'm shortening nails on a regular basis, and this is what I recommend that people do. So I recommend getting your manicures done or doing them, on the regular basis, like once a week, because that way you maintain the perfect length for your lifestyle, right? So if you are shortening your nails just once a week, there is barely anything to shorten. So it would be it wouldn't make a lot of sense to clip the nails and then shape them anyway. At work, I don't usually do it because I use electric file to shorten the nails if I have to. And I find I like doing it that way. Another thing that is problematic with cutting your nails, especially when the nails are short. So let's say if your nails are extremely long, then cutting it is fine because you are far away from the hyponychium. But the problem is that sometimes the hyponychium is not very visible and you really do not want to cut someone when you are shortening such short nails. It's a very traumatic thing when that happens because the nail bleeds like crazy. So this is why I prefer to shorten slowly, and then I can take a look at the other side and if I'm too close to the hyponychium. So hyponychium is one thing. Another issue with clipping is sometimes you have to use very sharp clippers, because if you're using something that's a little dull, it can easily crack the nail. So if the nails are brittle or very thick, when you clip, it can shatter the nails. When you have very little to do, then you're doing the work twice, because first you are shortening the nails, clipping the nails, and then you are shaping them anyway. So might as well just shape them, right? Another reason why I don't do it is because very often in the salon, the sound of clipping drives people crazy. So they really don't like hearing that. So when you're working with other people, it's problematic sometimes, the clipping. And with the clipping, you sometimes end up with nails that are flying all over the place. You have to wear glasses, the client has to wear glasses. And I've heard of instances where people, end up with nail clippings in their mouth and other places. So you have to be very careful. I mean, I do that with toenails. Sometimes it just depends, but it's a little bit easier, I guess, to control. It's a smaller nails usually, but if I don't have to clip, if it's just small amount of shortening or shaping, then I just use a nail file. So you also mentioned that you experience less splitting and breakage at the tip. I don't think that the cutting is going to give you a cleaner layers, because are you going to cut and shape? So you're still gonna use file, right? You're still going to shape the nails. So it's not going to be that much cleaner, because if the nail file does not give you a clean surface, then you're still gonna file, right? When it comes to splitting and breakage at the tip, this usually happens because the surface of the nail is not healthy and not because it's cut the wrong way. Although if you are shortening the nail and you're shaping the nail with a very coarse file, so something that is even like 180 or 100 grit, that is a coarser file. So yes, the edge is not going to be as smooth, but you get your job done very, very quickly that way. And then what I do, I just use a buffer, something that really hugs the nail. So, if I use a files it this way. Then after that, I go with the buffer, which is 240 grit, which is very, very, well, it's fine. It's a perfect grit. And then the buffer, because it's flexible, it kind of hugs the nail and it bevels it perfectly. So there is nothing to catch. There is absolutely nothing uneven about the surface. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for your question. Bye.